All right. We are going to start the supportive factor session of our weekly program. To start the program, can I request everyone to say sadhu?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Katang bhavitani cha kundaliya tini sucharitani katang bahuli katani chattaro satipattani paripurenti. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today is 19th of November. Once again, we took this verse that we have been discussing for about few weeks now. Now it's a verse that the Blessed One is telling the wanderer called Kundaliya. So this particular verse was taken from the Sutta, which is named after that wanderer. So its name is Kundaliya Sutta. So Kundaliya is a person who is wandering from park to park and monastery to monastery and have some food and listen to the talks of various teachers. So one day he happened to meet the Blessed One, and after exchanging greetings, he's asking a question from the Blessed One. Why are you living this life of celibacy, and why are you wearing these saffron robes? Kundaliya, when he asked what teaching and what expectations do you have in wearing the robe, he says, when I usually ask this question from other teachers, other preachers, their explanation is that it is an idea, viewpoint that is put forward and convincing other people to accept that viewpoint is my teaching. And I argue as much as possible to prove that viewpoint. And that is what some ascetics are saying. And some other ascetics are condemning such arguments to prove their thesis. So Kundaliya is asking, are you also having any thesis like that you are putting forward? The Blessed One says, I don't have any thesis as such, but why I live this life is for the benefit and fruit of true knowledge and the liberation. And that was a complete unexpected answer for Kundaliya. He was so alarmed with it, and he straight away asked the next question, what things have I got to do to develop and cultivate so-called true knowledge? Then he says, 7 factors of enlightenment. And then the Blessed, he again asked the same question, what things need to be done to get the 7 factors of enlightenment? Then he says, to get the 7 factors of enlightenment, you must develop 4 foundations of mindfulness. And then he is asking, what have I got to do to get there? Then he says, you will have to restrain the sense faculties. Then he's asking, how do I restrain sense faculties? What I have got to do? Then he says 3 kinds of good conduct has to be done. So when he kept on asking what things to be done, up to the point that three kinds of good conduct to be, or restraints of sense faculties to be done, Then the Blessed One stops him and tells him, I am going to now tell you how you are going to do it. And he's starting with restraint of sense faculties. Now, these are the things that we have already discussed. So I'm just rushing through what we have already discussed. I'm just trying to refresh your memory on what we have discussed in the last few months. So he says, when you restrain sense faculties, and when you get any sense object which is agreeable, then don't get bogged down in it. Don't long for it. Don't become excited by it. Don't generate lust for it. And at the same time, if you have any disagreeable sense object, and don't get dismayed by it, don't get daunted by it, don't get dejected by it, don't feel ill will about it. And if you can avoid these things, irrespective of whether you have an agreeable or disagreeable sense object, then your sense faculties are restrained. So usually when we see something, when we hear something, when we taste something, when we have some contact, when we smell something, when you think something, we have these two categories, agreeable things and disagreeable things. So what Buddha says is, may it be agreeable, disagreeable, you should not get affected by it, is his simple answer. And he says, when you do that, that person's body is steady, because the sense faculties are basically, except the mind, is in the body. So when you have restrained your sense faculties, your body is steady. And to do that, when you are not mentally affected as well, because even when you have mental objects which are agreeable and disagreeable, you don't get affected by it when the sense faculty are restrained, because one of the sense faculty is the mind. Not only the body, even the mind becomes steady. So when you are steady in body and mind, then you are right here, right now. So when you are right here and right now, then only you can be, be balanced, or have a balanced mind, have equipoised mind. That is the name of our group. Samahita. Samahita means equipoised mind. So when you have that equipoised mind, you are inwardly well composed and well liberated from those sense faculties. So it may be ear, may it be eye, may it be nose, may it be tongue, may it be body, may it be mind. You are liberated, he says. So when you keep on doing that, that will develop your good behavior. When you develop good behavior, if you have had any misbehaviors, all those misbehaviors will become good behaviors. In other words, if you have not been observing precepts, you will start observing precepts. And not only that, your mind also will not go towards ill will not go towards sensual thoughts, will not go towards harmful thoughts. Even if they do, you will be aware of it. As a result, you will have three types of good conduct, which is the good physical conduct, good verbal conduct, good mental conduct. So when you have such conducts, you will have to be very alert. You will have to be very alert about your bodily actions, about your verbal actions, about your mental actions. So when you are alert about your mental, physical and mental process in this manner, you will have to be alert using mindfulness. Alertness means mindfulness, and not get dismayed, not get daunted, not get excited, removing bad conducts means where you become aware of the bad conducts you are having. Even if you do the bad conduct, when you become aware of it, you start feeling ashamed of it. you start feeling fearful of it. So that over time, what happens is you will be gradually moving away from that. So when you move away from that, whenever your mind goes to the body for anything, you are aware of the body. Whenever your mind goes to the mind, then you are aware of it. So because your awareness heightened, then you start observing that your mind is always only in these things. And those things in which the mind will be, or mind will establish, or mind will operate are the four foundations of mindfulness. So your awareness can be on the four foundations of mindfulness. And of that, the first one is the bodily mindfulness. So which we have discussed the four foundations of mindfulness basics, where it was taught and to whom it was taught, and what qualities are necessary to have this mindfulness. And then I have discussed this in very detail. I think we have about over 50 talks about four foundations of mindfulness. So here we are just refreshing that once again with some quick notes about these four foundations. So in the last few talks, we have discussed about the ways that we can be mindful of our body. We started with being mindful of the body using the breathing technique, which we usually use. So when you become mindful of yourself, when you become mindful of your body, when you become alert about your physical and mental activities, so one thing that you will observe in your body is all the time is this breathing. You will see your breathing pattern changes. And in this case, when you practice breathing technique in a formal way, as you have done a little while ago, what happens to the breathing is explained in breathing mindfulness. It initially becomes gross, initially becomes long, and when you keep on observing, and you will observe the pattern changes. The gross nature changes to the subtle nature, and the long nature changes to the short nature. So when that change happens, your job is, a person who is trying to be mindful, just observe what is prevailing in the present moment without any choice. Choiceless awareness of the present moment of yourself. So when you do that, it further becomes shallower, finer, and it goes to the finest. And when the breath becomes so fine, to observe such fine breath, your mind should also be extremely fine. That fine mind is with the breath all the time, the fine breath, which travels throughout your body. So using that vehicle of fine breath, your mind is able to now travel through the body, travel in the body, navigate the body, surf the body, and you start feeling the whole body in one or the other form. There are many forms in which you will feel the whole body. You may start feeling your whole body. So when you start feeling your whole body, and without excitement, if you practice mindfulness, if you practice simple choiceless awareness, then there is nothing to get alarmed. You simply keep observing it. When you simply keep observing it, what happens is that observations goes even deeper, and you may not even feel that there is a body, because you simply only observe. You don't consider anything as self. You don't identify anything as yourself. So therefore, that self-identification nature that the mind is having is gradually evaporating. So therefore, gradually diminishing, gradually vanishing. And when that notion vanishes, although the body is there, you don't feel the body. So it will come to a stage where you are completely calm with all the physical volitions. So when you become calm with the physical volitions, that is one heightened mindfulness that is taught in the four foundations of mindfulness, or rather in the observations of the breath. So the Blessed One, although he is giving such fine and deep and clarity in mindfulness, in four foundations of, or in the breath mindfulness, he knows that a person cannot be mindful in that manner for 24/7. So you cannot be sitting cross-legged and keeping your hands on the lap and then closed eyes and stay the whole day. There are many other things that you will have to do. So many bills are coming, and there are many physical requirements. So for those things, you cannot maintain that posture forever. So he says, take this skill to the rest of the things that you do. So he says in the next one, when you get up, be aware of that standing posture. When you walk, which we usually practice as well, be aware of the walking posture. When you sleep, be aware of the sleeping posture. And when you sit, be aware of the sitting posture. So in this manner, Buddha is requesting the practitioners to take the skill that was developed in observing the breath to observe the other postures as well. So in that manner, it becomes more practical. So once it becomes more practical, Blessed Ones gives the next technique. You take this further and be aware when you are moving forward and when you are coming back, when you are stretching your arm and folding it and unfolding it. Similarly, when you stretch and fold your leg, and similarly, when you eat, drink, similarly, when you wear your clothes, similarly, when you urinate and defecate, when you speak, when you do anything, just be aware of the thing that you are doing, keeping the attention to the body. So in this manner, the Blessed One is continuing the awareness element that our mind is having. So in that manner, he is trying to give us a new skill of perpetuating the awareness. So when the awareness perpetuates in this manner, the Blessed One in the same chapter explains, you are always with the body. When you are always with the body, you may feel more fine material with which the body is made, especially while sitting and walking. When you have continuous mindfulness into the postures and the semi-postures, when you practice, your practice gets even deeper, and you may start feeling the elements of the body. Those are the fine particles that the physics is explaining. So those fine, you may start feeling those fine particles. So when you feel fine particle, you may feel the heaviness or the lightness, or the softness or the hardness, or the weight, or the heaviness or the lightness, things like that. When you feel those things, that is the nature of the earth element. And if you feel that your body is so warm, if you feel that your body is so cold, those are the two extremes of the heat element. Similarly, if you feel that you are being crushed inside, or if you feel that you are being slithering down, that is because of the water element. And then if you feel that you are held tight, or if you feel that you are shaking and moving, that is because of the air element. So in this manner, when your mindfulness perpetuates, and when your practice continues, you may feel the body in finer material or the basic elements of physics. So when that situation arises, you are completely in the body. You don't identify your body anymore with hand, with the tummy, with the back, with the chest, with the legs, with the head, this and that. And you will simply feel a nature of the body only. So when you feel this nature, and there are a few other techniques which we discussed last time, which are contemplations rather than direct experience. The process I explained is the direct experience. And other than these direct experiences, there are some contemplations, which means you see something and you contemplate that particular nature exists in my body as well. So there are some other techniques of bringing the attention to the body. So I'm not going to discuss those things because we are going more with the experiential aspect of bringing the mind to the body. So when you, if I go back to the elements explanation, when your attention goes to the elements in this manner, then you are in the very basic nature of the mass, very basic nature of any physical process. So when you go to the basic nature of the physical process, human being is a physical process as well as a mental process. So that so long as the physical process is active in its normal manner that we know of, we have no clue of the mind. In other words, so long as we keep gobbling as much as possible, when you keep chatting as much as possible, when you keep drinking as much as possible, when you keep watching movies and movies after movies in Netflix and Netflix and this Flix and all that, then your body is in the grossest position, grossest possibility, and you don't feel the basic elements of the body, and therefore you have no chance to open up the mind. But now, when you practice in this manner, when the body is, when you are no longer satisfying your sense faculties, and when you no longer identify yourself with the organs of your body, and when you feel your body as the fine nature of the universe, then the mind gets excited, or rather than the excited, it becomes a bit anxious. Mind becomes anxious and see what the heck is going on. And I have been using this body to satisfy or perpetuate the mind as long as possible. Now this guy is not moving or using or operating this body the way I want. And therefore, he or she may not like the seeing of the basic elements. So in other words, when you have the soft nature or the hard nature of the body, when you have the warm nature or the coldness of the body, when you feel the holding nature or the moving nature of the body, or when you feel the slithering nature or the flowing nature or the cohesiveness of the body, for some of these natures, for some you like, for some you don't like. So when this liking and disliking aspect of the basic physical elements come into the picture, so it is no longer body observation. It is an observation of the mind, what the mind tells you. So that is the what you call interconnection. That is the bridge between the body and the mind. The bridge is our interpretation or the mind's interpretation of the basic elements. mind interpretations of the basic elements is called feelings, is called Vedana. So when you go through the body in this manner, the next part that comes out is Vedana or the feeling. And when you like those natures of the body, you call it pleasant feeling. When you dislike certain natures of the body, that is called unpleasant feeling. And there will have a stage where there is neither pleasant nor unpleasant, some neutral moments, neutral feeling. And they are called neither pleasant nor unpleasant feeling. So now today's topic is therefore the next foundations of mindfulness, which is Vedana, or we call it Vedananupassana. So after Kayanupassana, we come to the next one, Vedananupassana. So in Vedananupassana, again, what you will do is the same thing that you have been doing. And what you have been doing is observation. Because you observe, you were able to go through the various facets. You were able to go through the evolution of the breath. And then you were able to go through the movement or the change of the object from the breath to the body. And then you were observing the evolution of the body. And then you were able to observe the finest nature of the body. Now, in this manner, in this evolution, you are observing various diversification of your mindfulness. So another facet, another diversification of the mindfulness comes into the picture when this interconnection between the body and the mind, liking and disliking, comes into the scene. So even here, therefore, what you will have to do is to continue with what you have been doing. And what you have been doing is observation. So therefore, the Blessed One says, when you have, irrespective of what type of feeling you have, you simply observe. So he says, a monk, when experiencing a pleasant feeling, knows I experience a pleasant feeling. That is awareness. When experiencing a painful feeling, he knows that is awareness. I experience a painful feeling. When experiencing a neither pleasant nor painful feeling, he knows I experience neither pleasant nor painful feeling. So this is the advice of the Buddha. And he gives this advice at the very outset of the four foundations of mindfulness, which is the crux of the teaching. What is the very advice or the crux of the teaching is not just mindfulness. Keep the mindfulness to the fore. Keep the mindfulness in the driving seat. So when you keep the mindfulness in the driving seat or to the fore, then only, no matter what the object comes, you simply become aware. So you have been aware when the breath changed, and you continued your mindfulness. You have been aware when the body is fell, you just kept your mindfulness. And when you kept observing when the body changed to the nature of the universe, you simply became aware. Now another one, these interpretations of what you feel, again you will have to be aware. If you feel painful feeling, you simply become aware. If it is pleasant feeling, simply become aware. If it's an extremely neutral and no feeling, you simply become aware. So the funny thing is, although Buddha is giving us the complete range to which we have got to be aware, especially in Sri Lanka, this word Vedana is having a very limited perception. In Sri Lanka, Vedana means only painful feeling. But Vedana in the Buddha's dictionary is the whole range, starting from pleasant, and the middle is neither painful nor pleasant, and the other extreme is the painful. So the whole area is range is Vedana, and he says he's asking the whole range to be observed. But unlucky enough, we are very quick to be mindful when there is an unpleasant feeling. Since the feeling is unpleasant, since it is painful and you have no choice and you have been observing all this time, so you simply become aware of the painful feeling. So it's pretty easy. But when that painful feeling, when you observe, many things might happen. When you observe the painful feeling, it might increase. When the painful feeling increases, you go and file a case, declare war against your own practice, or the technique, or the teacher, and ask why my pain is increasing. That is because you are becoming a pain to the pain. Blessed One says, don't do that. It might increase. If it increases, you simply observe. Don't have any expectation that this will happen or the other thing will happen. Whatever happens, you simply observe. So if you are having a character of bit of more hatred character, then when you observe, it increases. Or if you have had a hatred character in the past, then when you observe, that hatred nature will come to the surface, and then your pain will increase. So no problem. Increasing pain means your defilements that are hidden in the physical and mental process are coming out now. So when it comes out, don't once again suppress and seal them in your physical and mental process. Blessed One says, simply keep observing. They come to the surface just to go out. So when the dirt is coming out, don't press it inside again. Just let it flow out. So how you let it flow out is simply by being aware that it is coming out. So this is, although people don't like it, when you have a painful feeling, it is easy to be mindful. Number one. Number two, people quietly quick in being mindful of the painful feeling. But if you have a pleasant feeling, you forget the fact that you will have to observe it. Instead, you will be enjoying it left, right, center. And you will be claiming that my practice is going so smooth, so nice, so sweet, so deep, and never gives a report. Because they think that, or not that they think, the mind is naturally tend towards the happiness, the rapture that arises, the pleasure that arises from the pleasant feeling. So therefore, it's very likely, again, it is unlucky that you forget. Your mind does not allow you to keep the mindfulness to the fore. So when the feeling is pleasant, you think now this very smooth sailing is happening, and you will be on full song after that. But the advice of the Blessed One is, irrespective of pleasant or unpleasant, you simply will have to maintain your awareness without any change. Therefore, the most important thing for the practitioners is not to forget that As you become aware to the unpleasant feeling, when you have a pleasant feeling, you will have to simply observe that and be aware of that as well. And it is even worse when it comes to the neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Because in that situation, it is very lethargic, it is very monotonous, it is very sleepy, it is very depressing. Especially it will have the characters of lethargy, and they don't identify that as a feeling. And if they complain, I feel very sleepy, so maybe I will have to get up and go. Maybe I am tired. Maybe my practice is not going well these days. So they are giving 1,001 excuses when you have neither pleasant nor unpleasant. We call it adukkama sukha feeling. So this becomes a haven for the practitioners to complain. But what the Blessed One says, when that situation arises, and that is a very strong situation, so far as the practitioner is concerned, so far as the teacher is concerned, if someone is able to explain or rather experience these type of feelings, where you feel lethargy, where you feel sleepy, where you feel numb, where you feel useless, where you feel lazy, and that is a situation where you don't have laziness on one, you don't have any pleasant feeling on one hand, and you don't have unpleasant feeling on the other hand, which means so far as the pain is concerned, so far as the feeling is concerned, you have come to the middle of the feelings. So coming to the middle of feeling is a heck of a task. It is not something easy. So therefore, it is the duty of the teacher to tell that this is how the practice progresses. When your practice progresses, you don't feel painful feeling means your hatred has subsided. You don't feel pleasant feeling means your craving has subsided. When your hatred and craving, when your liking and disliking reduces, it comes to a situation where there is no liking and dislike. So when there is no liking and disliking, you don't feel that you are living. You don't feel that you are worth, because that is what we have been taught. And we are conditioned to be very worthwhile, to be very active. So to be very active, we should have either the pleasant or the painful feeling. When you have pleasant or painful feeling, we have hatred and liking, and then we will be very energized and we will have full go-go show. But when it comes to neither of those two, it comes to a point which is something unfathomable to the ordinary mind. And here again, the Blessed One says, when you have this sleepy lethargy situation, don't get alarmed, don't get shocked, don't stop your practice, but simply become aware that you are sleepy. Simply become aware that you are lethargic. Simply become aware that you are lazy, that you feel worthless. And that awareness, again, takes away the hatred towards this particular scenario. So when you take away the hatred towards this particular scenario, and that becomes the most admirable or the most difficult position in the practice to come. Because it is very easy for us to have the pleasant feeling. It is very easy for us to have the unpleasant feeling. But when you come to this position where there is no pleasant, unpleasant feeling and become aware, and that is a big achievement in the practice. So instead, what we do is, while walking, if you feel lazy, you just come and sit down. So I've seen in my retreats that when the timetable says walking, at least half the group is doing sitting practice because the walking has become so lethargic. Walking has become so what you call sleepy and so worthless you feel. Or while walking, you just go and wash your clothes during that time, or go and have a tea break, or go to the toilet during that time, instead of doing the full 1 hour walking or 45 minutes walking. So they do something else because the walking has come to that neither pleasant nor unpleasant feeling. While initially when you are walking, it is so nice, so smooth, and you may feel that you are walking on lotus flowers. Then, full of craving, you keep walking and the walking is going so well. But when you feel sleepy and when you start walking, like a drunk person, moving to this corner and that corner, then you go and do all sorts of things other than walking. So, these feelings, the bridge between the body and the mind, the Blessed One says, this is an interpretation of the mind, so don't get hooked up with it. Even for that, you just become aware. When you become aware, it becomes, your practice goes to another layer. And then this juncture of observing feelings is very important so far as the conditioning process is concerned. We know in the conditioning process, in the dependent origination process, we have ignorance, and ignorance, because of the ignorance, the volition happens. Because of the volitions, consciousness happens. Because of the consciousness, the name and form happens. Because of the name and form, the 6 sense faculties come into being. Because of the 6 sense faculties, the contact come into being. Because of the contact, you have the feelings. So these feelings is because of the contact. So this is the point that the Buddha wants to bring our attention. So to bring the attention to this contact point, only he wants us to keep the attention to the body. So in the 4 foundations of mindfulness, therefore, the Buddha says, not only just keep the attention, so keep the awareness, keep the mindfulness to the fore. He says, keep the mindfulness to the fore, taking the body as your focal point. He says, ujum kayang panidaya parimukang sating upattapetta, which means your mindfulness has got to be kept in the driving seat, but it should have always reporting to the body. You should have that mindfulness always with the panidaya. Panidaya means having the focus, reporting to the controlling room. So you should have the mindfulness to the fore, and also you will have to see it through your body. So since you are seeing it through your body, you will be able to come to this contact point. Initially, you will not be able to exactly come to the contact point. You will be, when you feel the contact, and you will see, you will observe only the interpretations that happens because of the contact, which is the pleasant feelings or the unpleasant feeling. So when you simply observe pleasant and unpleasant feelings, the interpretations of the mind about the contact goes away, and then you will be left with the contact. So you start feeling the contact of the body. You're feeling the contact of the body means you now feel the body at a different layer, in a different layer, in a deeper, different layer. So therefore, the Buddha says, when you see this layer, when you see the contact in the body in this manner, you will be not developing craving because of the feelings. In the dependent origination, what happens is, The next stage is you go from the feeling to the craving. You go from the feeling to the craving. If you react to whatever the feeling that you will have, if your feeling is unpleasant, you start applying balm, you start you go to a doctor and see why the painfulness is, or you test all the possible tests, you take all the possible tests, and then it's a reaction. When it is pleasant feeling, you don't tell anybody, you simply keep indulging in it, then it is a reaction. And here Buddha says, don't do any of those things. When you don't do any of those things, you don't develop craving towards them. When you don't develop craving towards them, it reverses back to the contact. Reversing back to the contact means your attention is once again in the body. Having the attention once again from the feeling to the body. In other words, reversing the dependent origination from the feeling to the contact is a discontinuation of the dependent origination. So when you discontinue the dependent origination in this manner, at least for one thought moment, in the practice of a whole year, that is cracking the existence. That is cracking our samsara. And if you, not just one thought moment, if it becomes 2, 3, 4, 5, then when it accumulates, what happens is our samsara is getting shortened. Therefore, the Buddha says, is now the feeling, instead of leading it to the craving, now the feeling may lead to the wisdom. So therefore, this is a very important juncture in the practice. Observing the feeling. That is because it simply directly giving an opening for the wisdom. And it is very essential. The observation of the feeling is very essential because this is an experiential teaching. This is not a teaching that you will experience after your death. Most of the other beliefs, other teachings, you will have to do so many things in this life. After death, only you go to heaven. But in this case, there is no after death. If you do it now, you can experience it now. So for you to experience it now, you should have your attention to the body. And therefore, when you have the experience through the body, you are definitely going to have a tremendous amount of painful feeling. Not for everybody, but for most of the people. If it is not painful feeling, there will have tremendous amount of pleasant feeling. So when you have these feelings, if you forget the fact that you have got to observe, then what happens is, whatever that happened before Buddha will happen. So before Buddha, everyone was practicing, not everyone. Most of the people were practicing. And we know Alara Kalama, Uddaka Ramaputta, Asita, and they were very famous ascetics. And Kashyapa brothers, they were very famous ascetics. And they had reached a very high level. And they were thinking that they have become arahants and they have come to the supermost position of developing the mind. But Buddha said, no, still there is some friction. This is not what I am looking for. What they have been doing is, they have gone to that pleasant feeling and they have been enjoying that. So Buddha says, no, definitely when you practice, you will have a pleasant feeling. If you go through that tremendous amount of unpleasant feelings, and if you can go through that, what is left will be the pleasant feeling. So when you come to the pleasant feeling, it is there not for you to enjoy and indulge and get bogged down, and it is for you to observe. When you forget the fact that you will have to observe, you will be extending your samsara. But if you observe, then what happens is it you will not develop craving of it over it, and you will get back to the contact point. And when you come to the contact point, then it's a whole different ball game. It changes to cutting short your samsara. It directs towards the wisdom, and it opens up the gate for the fruit and benefit of the teaching, fruit and benefit of the knowledge, fruit and benefit of liberation. So this is what Buddha tells Kundaliya. Kundaliya, I'm living this life for the fruit and benefit of the knowledge and the liberation. So to get the fruit and knowledge of the liberation, this is a very good point. And this is not the only point, but this is a very good point, a very good juncture. Anyone who practices usually goes through this, because the Buddha says in Kimmulaka Sutta that all the phenomena are led by mindfulness. So Satadipataya Sabbe Dhamma. So when you are mindful, every phenomena is happening. They simply become phenomena. You don't react to things, but the things are happening. So you're simply observing things. And then he says, when you keep on observing this, you will observe that sabbe vedana samosarana sabbe dhamma. Vedana samosarana sabbe dhamma means all phenomena takes the refuge of the feeling. Any phenomena you will feel. And if you don't feel any phenomena, then there is no experience. So therefore, this is why in the teaching, when we were chanting, they say it is an experiential thing. It is something that you can practice here and now. And therefore, we will be keeping our attention to the body and keep the mindfulness to the fore. So what it says is inviting one word leading to Nibbana, to be known by the wise, each for himself. So since if it is to be known by the wise, each for himself, then you will have to experience it through yourself. So that is why the Blessed One is saying, Vedana samosarana sabbe dhamma. Any phenomena will be felt only through a feeling. So therefore, this feeling, observation of the feeling, it is easier said than done, but it is possible. And it is possible only to a human being. So therefore, this practice is not something that is to be experienced in the heaven after your death. Not it is above the sky. It is right in your body. It is right in your flesh. It's right in your bones, in your marrow bones. So therefore, keep the attention to your body and be aware of any intricate details of your body, and it will turn out to feelings. Keep observing these feelings. So the benefit and the fruit of liberation will not be far away. So I wish you all that this talk will encourage you to observe the body and reap that benefit and the fruit of liberation rather. Blessings of the triple chain.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good. We can take now some time. If anyone is having any report or any question.
I'll just go first. Just want to provide a report. Like in regards to the practice, I've noticed like a huge improvement, like in regards to me staying with the object. So like for me, like the object has become more and more clear, like especially in my walking meditation. Um, so I can clearly see like me taking the first step, like heel from middle to the toes, both feet. Sometimes I'm telling myself left, right, most of the time. Um, but I've also seen I'm able to stay with the object a lot more than I used to be able to, and
You
and
are unable or you are able?
I'm able.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, I've sensed a huge improvement in that, and I feel myself actually putting the effort in to stay with the object.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, and those are the good days that I have with practice. And when I go from that to the seating, the object almost feels automatic. So it's like I think I remember what how Dad used to explain it. Like when he used to do it, he looked at it as like the walking as a warm up, and it just automatically goes into the object automatically. It almost feels automatic where like you're not even trying. So when you sit down, I'm just with my body. I'm not even thinking about it.
Mm,
But that doesn't last for too long.
mm,
Probably have like a good like 10-15 minutes with it.
mm,
Um, then I notice myself, I start getting restless, like uh, probably like 40 minutes in. It's always
mm,
around like 35, 40 minutes in. And that's where I like start checking my phone, like check the time.
mm,
And then somehow like it gets like when there's like 15 minutes left, I like most of the time lately I've been getting up.
mm,
Um, because I don't know, I think when I started the practice, I felt there was like this huge amount of urgency that I had. So
mm,
when I felt the pain and there was this urgency that I was like, I need to sit through this hour. So
mm,
I would sit through the hour no matter what. But when I don't feel the pain,
mm,
I'm with the body, and I always start getting less restless around like that period.
mm,
Um, and it's just like I feel like I don't have any control over it. It just happens. I just get up.
mm,
Um, throughout the day, my mindfulness has been like improved a lot. Like it's not like to the full, but like I see myself always like reminding myself,
mm,
like little pigments, like every time I drink water out of the bottle, like these are like automatic reminders to become mindful. So now when I'm drinking water, like I'm always mindful. Like I'm drinking water, and like I could feel like the weight of the water bottle like
mm.
getting low, and I'm like tasting the water and all that. At work, like there's always this like little reminders. It's almost automatic. It's like it just comes out of nowhere. Like be mindful, and all of a sudden I'm like in my body, and like I can like feel the warmth in my body and everything.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes I'm like labeling, like I don't know, like I'll be like labeling what I'm doing to like
Yeah.
to be mindful.
Yeah.
Um, apart from that, I think someone once had mentioned how like I think like I've also mentioned in my previous reports like I've had troubles with sleep.
Mm,
So like it happens like once every 2 weeks or something where like I have like a sleepless night.
mm,
I used to panic a lot, like, and I think until like someone once mentioned like there was one of your students in Sri Lanka, I think she's a nurse, and she was very calm about it. Like she has
yeah.
like sleepless nights and she goes to work, she feels fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as soon as I heard that story, I'll just tell myself, oh, there's a girl in Sri Lanka that's happening, it's happening, and she's a nurse. She's working through these like late
Yeah.
hours as well,
That's right.
and like I'll just tell myself if she can do it, I can probably do it as well. And I
Okay.
would panic less a
Yeah.
lot. Like, and my day goes fine. I go to the gym. Sometimes
Yeah.
I go to the gym. I don't even sleep. Next day I'll go to the gym as well.
Yeah.
So the panic stage of that is like not completely eradicated, but it's like it's gone like a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's about it for the report.
Yeah. Okay. No. It's clarity is improving a lot.
Yeah,
Because initially what happens is when we are mindful, we can't fathom what the heck is going on. Because
mm,
when the mind comes to the body, it's a completely a different environment. It's as if you have gone to an alien planet because
yeah,
we have never seen our body, and then especially in your age, you get a lot of excitement,
mm,
become a lot of anxious about things. So therefore, it's very restless when the mind comes to the body. But now, since you are able to stay long with the object, and since this is happening automatically, which means you are pretty cool and the observation is going smoothly. And mm, talking about this daily mindfulness and automatic reminders is a sign of that. So when you become when you are involved in your day-to-day activities, especially the things that you are doing on your own, if from the back of your mind, if there is a secretary to tell you and you are drinking water, you are urinating, you are defecating,
Yeah.
that means our mindfulness has basically come to the fore, and our mindfulness is driving our life vehicle. So it does not happen all the time, but it happens most of the time. And even when it doesn't happen, now you are aware of that as well. So happening or not happening is not the question. Your awareness is there. So when your awareness is there, you have less reaction. The less reaction means less friction. Whenever there is a reaction, there is a friction. But if there is no reaction, you become frictionless. And so therefore, definitely from the report, the practice is improved. But there is a bit of a danger. We are dealing with our mind. Our mind is a stupid creature. Although I'm using the word creature, it's not a creature. Don't think it's a creature. It's a stupid phenomena. It's a stupid energy. What it tries always to do is keep flattering you, and then take you to the highest position, and then throw you down from there. Because when you feel that your mindfulness is cool and you're cool and things are going very smooth and I can be on a song, then it gradually develops an expectation. It gradually develops an identification of self with that improvement. So therefore, don't overestimate. Always have an underestimation, saying that mindfulness will go for 6 anytime. That I will lose my mindfulness anytime, and I will not have this automatic thing anytime. So when that happens also, I will be simply observing. So that way, you will be able to be ready for the unknown expectations that the mind is trying to build within our mental system, mental process. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And also, you mentioned another important thing here. You said object, coming to the object is automatic and it doesn't last long. And this is a very key observation. Although after walking, when you sit and it is automatic, and it does not stay continuously, means now you are seeing the changing nature of things. It anything does not stay permanently. And irrespective of how well you try, you said you can see that you are trying to observe the object. So you see your own attempt, your own effort, and it has produced results as well. But still, it does not last long. So when this type of a scenario is building up, the mind is trying to gather raw material to make you depressed, because you know that you are trying and you know that you reap benefit, and then after some time it vanishes. So in that process, mind can gradually build up a situation that you will be unhappy. Right? So therefore, what you will have to learn from this is that nothing is permanent. Anything is changing to anything, anytime. My job is to observe that change in nature. So when you observe that changing nature, that mind agenda to create depression, to create unhappiness goes out the window, because we are ready to accept any change. Make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So therefore, you were saying you become anxious about 45 minutes and you get up in the last 15 minutes.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this is the heightened point of the practice. It comes to a situation where you don't have anything to flatter about, where you don't have anything to enjoy. And at the same time, you don't have anything to fight with.
yeah,
You don't even have an object sometimes. You are simply sitting. And that is a point where you can go through the entire physical and mental process. This is a point where you don't have craving, where you don't have hatred. If we have craving and hatred, then we are very energized. When both these are lost, mind becomes very, very confused and it makes you anxious. So what you will have to do is when that happens, simply observe the fact that I am anxious. Simply observe the fact that nothing is there to observe. Simply observe the fact that I'm confused, if it is confused.
yeah,
And don't get up. The main thing that has to be done is simply keep sitting. Don't try to observe any object because the breath has become very subtle at this point. And the pain, there is no pain at all. Sometimes there are no thoughts as well. There is nothing for you to observe. So in this point, you will have to simply sit and just
yeah,
relax. And when you do that, there will not have anything in the world to put us down. Because now
yeah,
we have the ability to, to be to be observant when there is nothing.
yeah,
Always we need something to be happy.
something.
Now we don't have anything, but still we continue with our life, which is sitting in this place. So therefore, it's practice is taking another nice turn. Just keep observing. The sleepless night thing is, you said you get less panic. That is good, but still that little panic is there because we are obsessed with sleeping.
Yeah,
So because of our obsession, we expect all the time that they should have sleep. If there is no
yeah,
sleep, we feel the whole day is gone.
yeah,
But being mindful means you become awake. You become very relaxed. So if you are awake and relaxed, why you won't sleep? Blessed One slept only 1 hour a day, and even that just lying down. That is because that is why he is awakened one.
yeah,
We are sons and daughters of that awakened one. So we have instances of that awakening. So when you have instances of those awakening, we will have to be so happy that we are experiencing the life that the Buddha experienced instead of being unhappy and panic about it.
yeah.
So good on you. Keep it
Yeah.
up.
Thank
Teruvan Saranai. Yep. Anybody else?
Brisbane's okay, Bante.
Very good. Brisbane is always okay. Everyone, Saranai. So if there are no comments, questions, complaints, we can transfer merit and then conclude the session. Is anyone having the paper? No, no one? That's okay. Did Chatu go?
Yeah, Chatu left before. I think he's organizing retreat stuff.
Right. Okay. So, do you have the paper, Tanuka, with you? No.
No, someone else. I could try find it on WhatsApp again. I think I just need to scroll up.
No, that's okay. No, that's okay. I will.
Oh, I found it. I found it. It's okay.
Oh, great. So can you do it
Yeah.
for me, please?
Yeah,
Today
yeah,
we
sure.
have gathered a lot of merits positive energies, good energies, by practicing and by discussing the mindfulness and the teaching of the Blessed One. So we will transfer those merits to the rest of the beings in the universe. So can I kindly request Thanuka to do it for us, please?
May all devas share this merit which we have thus accumulated for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness and prosperity. May all other beings share this merit which we have thus accumulated for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness and prosperity. May all the beings share this merit which we have thus accumulated for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness and prosperity. May all beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, having shared this merit, long protect the dispensation. May all beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, having shared this merit, long protect the teaching. May all beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, having shared this merit, long protect me and others. If by deed, speech, or thought, heedlessly I have done any wrong, forgive, O Master, or Victor, greatly wise. If by deed, speech, or thought, heedlessly I have done any wrong, forgive, O Dhamma, to be seen here and now, timeless. If by deed, speech, or thought, heedlessly I have done any wrong, forgive, O Sangha, practiced well, then comparable. Let this merit accrue to our departed relatives, and may they be happy. Let this merit accrue to our departed relatives, and may they be happy. Let this merit accrue to our departed relatives, and may they be happy. By the grace of this merit that I have acquired, may I never follow the foolish, but only the wise up to the time I attain Nibbana. By the grace of this merit that I have acquired, may I never follow the foolish, but only the wise up to the time I attain Nibbana. By the grace of this merit that I have acquired, may I never follow the foolish, but only the wise up to the time I attain Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu. So thank you very much for the participation. We will meet again next Tuesday.
Everyone, sadhu.
Peruan Sarana. Peruan Sarana.